Live now.
Okay. Good morning, virtual villagers. Hi, I'm Kate from What Kate Made. Welcome along today to my little kitchen setup. I'm going to show you today how to make some very simple homemade soaps. So the method we're going to use is melt and pour. And by melt and pour, we mean literally that. We've got ready-made soap bases here. So we're not doing a cold process soap where you make it from the separate ingredients. We've got here, this is the melt and pour soap. So it comes ready-made as soap and you literally melt it. Add your own colours and scents and shapes, bits and pieces, whatever you want to put in it, and you can make lovely homemade soaps. So that is the soap base. What I've got here is, that's an opaque one. I'll get them out of the boxes so can you see them? I'm just gonna, tilt the camera a little bit. I'm struggling a bit today because I need lots of space, so I think you'd be better looking at what I'm doing rather than at me. Okay, so I've got the opaque soap base. You can also get it in a crystal clear one. So you need, obviously, you need your soap base. You need something to cut it with, something to melt it in. And after that, basically, and then something to pour it into. So after that, it's basically up to you. You can add colour and you can add scent, but you don't have, well, you probably want to add scent, but you don't have to add colour. So I'm using, for my scent, I'm using essential oils. I've got quite a collection of these now because I do various different things, making candles and so forth. So I've built it up over time. I have a couple of bigger bottles like this. This is orange. I also have lavender and vanilla, because those are the ones I use a lot. But generally speaking, they come in smaller bottles like this. These are about between £3 and £6, depending on what you're buying. And I've got various herbs, scents, various flowers, various fruits. So what I'm going to concentrate on today is showing you just something simple that you can actually, everything you need apart from the soap base and the scent, you can find at home. You don't even need a mould. I've got these silicone moulds simply because I do it quite a lot. But you could use something as simple as a yogurt carton. Can you see? That would make a lovely round soap. And if you wanted a longer soap, these are really handy. That's cream cheese comes in. They make a lovely bar of soap. But today I'm going to use the silicone mould. I can't lift this one up because I've already poured some stuff in it. I've pre-prepared a little bit. They also come in individuals, so you can buy these. These actually have, I don't know whether you can see that, but they have embossing in them. It says 100% handmade in that square one. So they're quite nice to use as well, to make individual soaps. Also, I find things like sometimes cake pop molds and silicone cake molds, particularly a loaf-shaped one. If you wanted to make a big soap and then cut it in slices, loaf-shaped one's great. Anyway, I'm going to get on and put some of this on because it takes a little while to melt. So I want you to be able to see the mixing process. Now, those cans come in a kilo. And I reckon with one of these rectangular molds, you need about 100 grams. So you would get 10 bars out of your kilo of soap base. So I'm just going to cut off a piece. I'm not going to weigh it. I'm quite confident. What you can always do is that. I mean, it more or less fits in the mold. So it's going to be about the right amount. You need to chop it quite finely. This is my chopper. It's for cutting, well, potatoes probably. It's incredibly good because it's very sharp and it cuts the soap really easily. You want to cut it into as smaller pieces really as you can manage because it will melt a lot quicker. Now, I'm going to put this on to melt now and we'll see how long it takes. I have here, you can't really see it. Can I twiddle you around a little bit? You might be able to see it. Just bear with me. This is my setup for melting. So we use a bain-marie method, similar as you would use to melt chocolate in. So it's basically a pan of boiling water with then another pan on the top. And I have these, which are very handy because they've got a nice lip for pouring and a nice handle so you don't burn your hands. But you could just use a metal bowl or a glass bowl as you would if you were melting chocolate. You do have to be much more careful not to burn yourself. So I'm going to put in my little chopped up bits of soap and put them over the heat. Just turn that down so it just simmers. And we'll see how long they take to melt. So we've got 11:05. So I've never actually timed myself doing this, so I don't really know. So going back to our equipment while that melts, and what I've already done here, I did these about half an hour ago. This one is actually solid now, so I could turn that one out. That is a favourite scent blend of mine. That's lime, basil and mandarin. And I think originally it was a Joe Malone one, and then Aldi started doing it, and I really like it. So I make my own soap with that now. So that is the opaque one. It's not had any colour added, but it's gone slightly yellow because of the orange oil that I put in it. Sorry, yeah, the mandarin. It's coloured it slightly. This one here is the clear soap. It's had orange added to it, and I've only half filled the mould because I want to put another colour on the top so I can make 2 layers. So what I'm going to do with that one is put this opaque colour. So I'm going to make it the same scent, and I'm going to add but less colour, and then I'll get a layered soap. This is nice. I don't use the round mould, but I don't know whether you can see that. I have put a dried orange slice in it. Now this again is it's the same clear soap that's in there. I think it's probably ready to turn out, so I think we'll try and turn it out. The silicone moulds are great. Now, the reason I put the orange slice in is it gives you a bit of roughness to it. So if you, it's like an exfoliating soap. It doesn't come out very clear. I think I may have overboiled it slightly, but that is really nice. I wish you had smelly vision because it is lovely. It smells gorgeous. So that's one round soap. This one, I'm going to try turning this one out as well so you can see what it looks like, and then we can do another. So this is our opaque soap. This is the lime, basil and mandarin. As I say, it's slightly coloured by the oils. I haven't put any specific colour in that. I'm going to talk to you about colours in a moment. But again, the scent is beautiful. We use all this soap at home. We don't use anything else. Now, that one that I put on to melt is about half melted now. So I'm going to show you the colours I use. I use powder colours just because I use them for everything. So soaps, candles, liquids, I colour everything with them. And I bought this as a set. Now I've had this set 5 years, and I think the only one I've refilled is the orange. So they go a long way. They're mica powder colours and they're quite strong. So you don't need an awful lot of colour in them. So for this one that I'm doing now, that I'm going to do a double layered one with that orange, I'm only going to put a little bit of the orange colour in it because I don't want it very orange. I just want it pale orange. So I've got all sorts of colours in there. Even got silvers and golds, bronze, silver, and it's a gold one there. And they look iridescent, but when you actually get them into the mixed in, they're not that iridescent. So that's colour. It's melting now. You also need, I've got chopping boards here. It's handy to put your mould on a chopping board because these are a bit floppy, so they move. You can also not just colour and scents, but you can put other things in as well. So this is actually nearly melted now. Don't know what, I'm going to hold it up and show you in a minute. I can't get your comments up. I don't know what's been happening lately, but lately I haven't been able to get your comments up. So if you're there, give us a wave and shout. I will get back to you after lunch. Right, so this is melted now. I just want to, I wipe the bottom of a metal bowl just so that it doesn't, can you see? I don't want to tip it up too far and it run out. So it's liquid now. And it'll stay liquid Don't overstir it because you work bubbles into it, and it can get a bit, it can start to form strands if you overstir it. So that's my liquid soap ready. As I said before, I'm going to put a little bit of orange in it just to make it a pale orange. So all I'm doing is tapping it. There's very few, it's just like little spots. Can I show you that? If I just, can you see? I don't know whether you can see. There's not a huge amount of colour in there. And I'm just going to stir that in. And then you can always add, it's best to add more, you know, a little bit and then more if you need it. So that's about right because I don't want it to be a dark orange because I want a fair contrast in my two layers. So that's quite a pale orange now. Can you see? So that's fine. I'm just going to keep it on the heat while I add my scent. So it's just orange. This is sweet orange in a large bottle, as I say, because I use quite a lot of that. Quite a lot of orange goes into different blends. You need about 30 drops to get a reasonable scent. So if you were doing a blend like the lime, basil, and mandarin, I did slightly more in that one. I did 30 drops of so 15 drops each of the two citrusy ones, the lime and the mandarin. Basil, herby ones tend to be a bit stronger. So with the basil, I only did 10. So I did 40 in total. Right, I'm ready to pour this now. So I'm just going to wipe, I don't like the water to drip into it, so I'll wipe the bottom of the bowl. So here's my half a layer filled mould. Can I bring that a bit closer to you? No, it's just going to take it further away. It's a bit difficult filming today because I need to encompass a big space. So that's half filled with the clear or darker orange, and I'm going to pour this on the top. And it should set pretty well. Right, now cleaning is very easy because it's soap. You just wash it under the sink. It's different if you're using waxes. I get into trouble sometimes if waxy things go down my sink, as you can imagine. Now you're going to need to clean your bowl in between because the scent and the colour will stick. But because we don't really have time today, I've got another bowl. So that will take about 20 minutes to half an hour to set. So we'll leave that to one side and let it set. Now the other thing you can do with it is add bits in, like I added the orange slice. You can add lots of different things to your soaps. So I've got a few things here. I'm going to show you that I probably will have a go at adding today. So I've got lavender flowers. Now they don't have a very strong scent, but they have a nice colour. The orange slices I used earlier. This is orange peel, dried and ground. Now that is perfect for a scrub soap. So if you wanted to have an exfoliating soap, you would use that. The only caveat with adding organic materials is that they do go off quite quickly. So you would need to use your soap within a month or add a preservative. Vitamin E makes a very good preservative. Vitamin E oil, which you can buy. So that will help preserve your anything organic you put in it. Right, let me have a think. What else do we sometimes use in it? Oh, I quite often use pressed flowers. Now these are ones that I bought. That particular mix, the purple and the pink, goes quite well with a lavender soap, for instance, or a floral one anyway. So you would, if you were using the opaque soap, you can put these in the bottom and they will float, and because you'll be able to see them through the soap. Sorry, not the opaque soap, the crystal clear soap. But if you're using the opaque soap, I would recommend you put them on the top. So you would need to use a straight-sided mould like this rather than one of the ones that has an imprint in the bottom, just because they will sink or they will float, so they won't stay on the bottom. If you put them on the bottom, when you pour the soap on, they'll probably float up to the middle, which if you're using the lavender flowers or the orange peel, it's not a bad idea, because it's right through the soap then. So you want your exfoliating to be through and not just on the top. But the flowers I would tend to add to the top once it's started to slightly set. If you see what I mean, this one that we did earlier, although it's still quite liquid, it's formed a skin on the top. So you could press your flowers into it now and they would appear on the top. The downside of that is that they do melt, wear away quite quickly when using it, but at least it looks nice presentation wise. So what should we do next? Maybe I will look at doing some lavender. I think I'll go with the clear soap, because then we'll see the flowers in it. So I'm going to get out a block of this. It's not cooperating. Can you see? Let me just wiggle this. Once it's out of the box, it might be easier. I've got my cutter stuck in it now. Now, needless to say, these make fantastic presents. And everybody in my family has had soap for Christmas. So if any of them are watching this, will say, oh, well, that's how it's done. But maybe not. That's the opaque soap. I'm going to cut it again. And then into little, it just helps it melt quicker if you cut it into smaller pieces. So let me turn the heat back up under that. You do need to keep an eye on your water as well. I might have to dash off and get some more water. I'm going to put my clear soap in there. There might be enough to do 2 of these. Now, when I was talking to you before about adding flowers and about it melting and floating, I have tried various different methods of sticking the flowers to the bottom. But the problem is that the heat of the warm soap tends to unglue anything that you may have glued in. So it's not always easy to get them to stick to the bottom, which is why I always put them in on the top. So if I'm going to make this a lavender mix, and I'm going to make a couple of different versions of it. So the dried lavender flowers, I'm going to put some of these in one of the moulds. So about a teaspoonful, just sprinkle them in. And when I add the soap to that, hopefully they will float into the middle of the soap. So that's the lavender flowers. In the others, I'm going to put some of these dried flowers. And again, because it's the clear, they will float. Just bear with me while I get a pair of scissors. I hadn't realised that pack wasn't undone. It does smell absolutely gorgeous in here, I have to say. Now, I am dodging about a bit with the things I'm telling you. I'm not very organised today. Going back to scents, if you're doing a blended scent, then you need a little container to blend them in. I use a little jar purely because it's glass. Plastic tends to get react funny with the oils sometimes, so you get a little bit of it eats away a little bit. Now for my lavender, I'm going to use the purple scent, the purple colour, and with these flowers, they're very delicate, but there's some very pretty. Can you see that? Like a cow parsley. I don't think these are the natural colours. So I'm going to put a few pieces of that in it. That's the white one as well. I'll put that in. I've got a purple one and a white one. And I think that will be enough. No, maybe put some more. I'll use the same, another purple. Oops. Now, you've got to be careful with your dried flowers because they have two sides. So you want to make sure that if you're putting them on the top of an opaque soap, that they are right side up. That's melting quite quickly. So lavender, I'm going to use the lavender oil, obviously. That's the bottle that's open. So again, I've got a big bottle of lavender because I use quite a lot of that. I might bring the camera a bit closer later so you can have a proper look at these. I'll also, because they need to set, I'll pop them onto my Facebook page later for you so you can have a look and see what the finished product looks like, particularly the two-layered one, because that's quite nice when you can see the two layers. Quite often with layered soaps, we make them in like a loaf-shaped mould. So I can't describe, well, sort of a deeper mould, and you can put 3 layers in it. And once you turn it out, you then slice it the other way, so you've got like a 3-layered slice, if you like. There's one particular scent blend I use. We call it the gentleman's blend, and it's got things like sandalwood and cedarwood and bergamot, frankincense, all those masculine scents. But it also has orange in it as well, so it's got a bit of a sweetness to it. So it's perfect in a mixed household. You know, my husband doesn't want rose or lavender, and I don't want a really masculine scent. So it's a nice compromise that we use quite a lot. I use quite a lot, and I make a layered soap out of it. So it's basically, it's got a clear, I colour it with orange, but I do a clear orange layer, then a pale orange layer like this one, and then a white layer at the bottom. So it's got 3 layers on it. They're all scented the same, but just coloured differently. So I'm just waiting. This is nearly melted. We'll just give that a little bit longer. So the blends, I have a little book with all my blends written down in it, and it's usually the different scents and the quantities that you need to add them to, because some are obviously stronger than others and will overpower. So the gentleman's blend is one I use quite a bit. I also use one called Sea Breeze, which smells like the sea, although it's got peppermint and rosemary and odd ones in it that you wouldn't expect to smell like the sea. I will pop a few of those up on my Facebook page after. So if you wanted to have a go, you could get those oils in. The thing with the oils as well is they'll last for ages. If you bought, for instance, the oils like lime, basil, and mandarin in the little bottles, they would last you forever if you were just making soap out of them. It sounds a lot, 40 drops, but it's not really, even in the small bottles. So I think that's melted. It's nice and smooth. So I'm going to add my colour. I'm not going to go overboard with the colour, just so it has a hint of purple. I think with my orange one, I put too much in and it overwhelmed the clearness of the soap. I'm just going to turn that down. So I'm going to stir that in. Maybe need a little bit more. It is very pale. Just a very hint of purple there. Put a little bit more. These are quite nice little pots because they have a sprinkle side and a pour side. So if you only want a little bit and use the sprinkle side, you can just tap it in and keep stirring until you get the colour you want. There are other colours of it. I mean, I bought this as a kit, obviously. So I think there's 20 colours in, 25 maybe. But you can buy them separately. You don't have to buy powder ones. You could buy liquid ones. I'm not sure. You need to be careful because some of the colours won't always mix. So this is my lavender oil, and I'm going to add 30 drops of it because I'm only putting the lavender in. Some of the bottles come with a drippy stopper in. Some come, these ones which I bought as a kit, these little tiny ones, have a dropper that comes with them. So I'm just going to give that a stir to get the scent in. There's a bit there that's not quite melted. So that's nice and liquidy. So first of all, I'm going to pour it in to the one where I've put the lavender flowers. Now they should float up. Might not have enough to do more than one here. So can you see what I'm pouring it in? The lavender smells beautiful. Now the flowers have all gone to the edge. But what I'll do is I will give it a bit of a stir and swirl them around. There is a little bit left in there. One thing you can do if you've got a little bit left, and I don't think I've got any to hand at the moment, is get little paper cake cases and pour in your leftover. That's spot on to fill that mould. So I'm going to leave that. Now I'm going to do an opaque one as well in the lavender. These are good. It's my mum's birthday in a few weeks. She's going to get, so I can show you how to put the flowers on the top. So we'll use the same bowl because we're using the same scent and the same colour. I hope no one's not watching because she'll know now what she's getting for her birthday. Right, so we'll pop that in to melt. You see, it's quite quick. It just takes the time to set, and even the setting, you know, within an hour, it's pretty much set. So while we're waiting for that one to melt, I can talk to you a bit more about the different oil blends. I'll just move that colour out of the way, and I'll show you. I'll move that so that I'm not knocking that. Normally, after I've gone off air, I would make some more, but today I'm on a mad dash to get a new passport today because I'm going on holiday 2 weeks and realised my passport had run out. So I'm having to make a dash to the passport office today. Yes, it was a bit of a shock when I found that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this is my case of oils. And I've got them divided up into, I've got herby ones with the green labels on, spicy ones with the brown labels, flowery ones with the pink labels, citrus ones with the yellow labels. I'm very organised. And these ones are Christmassy ones. Oh no, they're not. They're the tropicals. So I've got things like passion fruit and coconut and pomegranate. So there's quite a few there. Spicy ones, you've got things like sandalwood and cedarwood, which I use in my gentleman's blend. Herby ones, I've got bergamot, I've got rosemary, I've got bay, I've got a few of those different ones. So as we wait for that to melt, let's talk a bit about how much all of this costs. It's not hugely expensive. The kilo weights of soap, you can get them between £7 and £12. So they come in the ones I've got here. So the melt and pour. So they're all cruelty free. You can get the basic soap mix, which is what I've got. I've got the basic crystal soap base. You can also get it with other things in it, like you can get a goat's milk one, you can get a coconut one. So if you're wanting a vegan one, you would go for the coconut base. You can get shea butter, cocoa butter, all sorts of things added to it to make it more luxurious. But obviously, they're the more expensive end of the scale. I said already about scents. So this size of bottle, which is a 10 ml, can you see that? That comes in between £3 and £6, depending which ones you're buying. The more expensive ones are usually sort of rose scented is quite expensive. The things you would expect that are a bit more expensive to buy or to make. The other stuff, the sort of solid equipment, molds, not expensive. I think I bought 6 of these molds, the rectangular ones. So you get 6 bars out of each mold, and it came in a pack of 6 for about £10. I have lots because I do classes. People come along and make soap, so I need to have quite a range. For melting your soap, originally I just used a metal mixing bowl that cost me £1 from Home Bargains or somewhere like that, some little cheap supermarket. So as an initial setup, if you bought cheap bowl, if you used your plastic cartons for molds, the only disadvantage with these is they're a little bit difficult to turn out sometimes, but you just run a knife around it, and then you may end up having to cut your mold. But if you use those soft cheeses all the time, you just get another mold. If you're wanting to do a loaf shape one where you cut into slices, a margarine carton's good. There's the ones that are sort of that shape and about that deep, so you can do that as well. So there are a lot of things that you can scavenge, if you like. You don't have to pay for everything. The only things you will have to buy are the scents, the soap, and possibly the colour. Although, as I say, you don't necessarily need colour. In fact, this one I'm going to do now, as my opaque soap is melting, I won't put any colour in it. I'll just put scent in it. It's going to be lavender. It is important to stir a little bit, but not to overstir. It's one of those things. It's kind of like how long is a piece of string? If you overstir, you get bubbles, and it can go a little bit stringy. I'm conscious I keep standing up and blocking the camera. So that is melting nicely now. So we will not add colour, but I'll add scent. So I'll add lavender to it again, and I will put these little flowers. If I might be able to lift that up and show you them better now. Can you see they're like a little, not like a cow parsley, but not, I don't know what they are, but they're very pretty. They're smaller than cow parsley. They look like little starbursts. So I'm going to put them on the top. That one is starting to solidify a little bit now. That one, that's the 2-coloured one, that's set now. Oh, I think I might have left this too long and it's gone a bit stringy. Let's see if we can remelt it. I would always melt over, I'm just going to turn you a little bit. I would always melt over a bain-marie like this. You can melt it in the microwave, but the problem is that you can't keep it liquid. Once you take it out the microwave or the microwave stops, it starts to solidify straight away. So by the time you've carried it to wherever you want to do your pouring, sometimes it's gone solid or it's starting to go solid. This is just not cooperating in that it doesn't want to melt. And then I keep getting distracted and talking to you. It's coming now. As you can see, it's very, very simple. If you can melt chocolate, you can do this. I'm hoping plenty of you are out there watching. As I said, for some reason I can't bring up my live feed, which I normally have a live feed on another device so I can see what everybody's saying, but I can't today. So anyway, I will comment afterwards. And I think my water's just about boiling dry as well. Okay, I'm going to add my lavender scent. There we go, 30 drops of lavender. Recounting along with me then. So that's nice and liquid. Now, I don't think you can see this. Let me move everything that way again. So, as this is the last one I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that heat off. Now, I'm going to pour that in. I will have to leave it to just set a little bit before I add the flowers to the top, because they'll just sink. And then you won't be able to see them because it's opaque. You won't be able to see them. So let's just give that a little bit of a minute or two. I'll turn you back around to me. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you, sorry, you can't see my face. There. I hope you've seen how simple it can be to do this in your kitchen. As I say, I'm dashing off to get myself a passport. It's my 60th birthday in February, and we're going on this holiday as a birthday present. And my husband was doing all the organising and checked my passport and misread it. Anyway, that's by the by, I've forgiven him. So because my birthday's in February, I'm doing quite a bit of going out and celebrating. So I'm not doing any more broadcasting in February, but I'll be back in March. Now let's just see if this is starting to form the skin. It's very hot. Don't poke your fingers in it. It is starting to form the skin. I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes. So let's go back over what we've made today. We've made a double layered soap, which I will post a picture. I would turn it out, but now that I've put these other liquidy ones in, I can't turn it out. We've done the round soap with the orange in it. Well, we haven't done that, but that's one of the things I've done. That gives a nice exfoliating effect. If you did this with the orange on the front and you added your, it's only just occurred to me that, your grated ground orange peel as well, that would make a really nice scrubby soap. Perfect for when you clean your hands after the garden. What else have we done? We've done our, this is my favourite. This is going to go in my bathroom. That's my lime, basil and mandarin. It smells divine. And then I've done the two lavender soaps, the clear one with the little lavender flowers in it, and the opaque one that I'm going to try now to put these flowers floating on the top of it. Oh, that's worked. I'm always happy when something works. They're just dropping in randomly. I was going to put them in a pattern, but I'm just, now I can't lift that. I'm going to turn the camera, bring it closer and try and turn the camera down so you can see. Maybe lower it. No, let me lift it and see if I can lift it up so you can see. Can you see how they I need to go the right way? There you go. You can see that the flowers are floating in the top of it. So hopefully they will stay there and not sink. It looks like they're sitting on the skin on the top of it, so it will. So that's about it for me. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have joined me, I could have just been here on my own. Hope that you've enjoyed this and you will have a go. It is quite easy to do. When I'm back in March, when I do my workshops here, I tend to throw in a few things like body scrubs and lip balm and all other little bits of toiletries when we do it. So my next venture could maybe be showing you some of them, which are all very, very simply made with household ingredients. And again, we use the colours and scents. So a lot of things with butter, with coconut oil and various different things, beeswax, things like that. Well, I'm peering down at you. Thank you very much for joining me, and I shall see you in March.